Well, as folks probably know, over the weekend we've had a dramatic shift in activity at KīlaueaVolcano. The summit, which had been subsiding in these periodic collapse events, as we were calling them, had its last such event on Thursday last week about noon. After that, we returned to an increasing number of earthquakes, as has been the long pattern now since late May. And then over the weekend, instead of proceeding to another collapse event, the level of earthquake activity died way down to extremely low levels. At the same time, the deformation of the summit, the ongoing deflation that we've been measuring steadily now for some months, flattened out. So this was a significant perturbation in the pattern. Coincident with that, we also had a dramatic slowdown in effusion, or lava output, in the lower East Rift Zone at the Fissure 8 vent. We, on overflights over the weekend, saw that the amount of lava entering the channel was greatly reduced, and in fact this morning there was some bubbling and churning of lava within the vent, but lava was not actively being added to the channel. And folks may remember that as little as early last week, this wide river of lava had been fed from Fissure 8 heading all the way to the ocean. There's still some active lava at the surface as the lava flow continues to drain and ooze here and there, but overall the eruption rate has drastically reduced. With that, the amount of sulfur dioxide coming out at Fissure 8 has drastically reduced. Basically, the system appears to have almost shut down completely over the course of a couple of days. Now, we did see some hints that this might be coming. As we look more carefully at the data from early to mid-July, we were beginning to see some changes in various parameters that now, in retrospect, were early signs of the system going through a change. Of course, the big question is this mean the eruption and collapse activity is over? And the answer is we can't be sure. Clearly, we're in a pause or a lull, and we just have to wait and watch in the coming days and weeks ahead to see how the system evolves, whether it continues to slow down and truly stop, or there does remain the possibility that activity could resume both at the summit and in the lower East Rift Zone. As a reminder, in 1955, there was an eruption that went on for 88 days, and it did include 2 shutdowns of 5 and, I think, 16 days. And so that's a model for what might be happening. Similarly, there's no reason to believe that it can't start up collapsing again at the summit. Longer term, if activity changes permanently in this direction, we have to then think about what other hazards might be out there. As the summit has changed so dramatically over these months, we now have a very deep crater. We have a significantly drained summit magma reservoir, and we're trying to think about the possibilities of what that might entail for ongoing hazards in the summit. I think one thing people are going to ask is why has this happened? What does it mean? And the several hypotheses that exist. One are that we've had basically a slowdown in supply to the summit magma reservoir, which has basically brought the whole system to a halt. We don't have evidence for or against that, and we're looking at ways to test that hypothesis. The other possibility is that there's been a blockage in the system somewhere that basically prevents further draining of the summit and further outflow in the lower East Rift Zone. But again, we have no evidence for that, really. So we're continuing to search for explanations for what's going on, because that should help us determine what will happen. I'll stop there.